I believe in the Old Testament it was Nehemiah who God commissioned to rebuild the wall. And that wasn't just a little project, was it?
No.
And there was plenty of opposition.
Plenty of opposition, but also interesting provision from the king.
Yes. And Sandy Lofberg is the regional director of 6 states for Aglow International. And Sandy, in North and South Dakota, there's some rebuilding going on.
There is, and I'm really excited. Last June, State Park Coordinator from Idaho and I toured North Dakota for a week, and then we revisited North Dakota in mostly new places back in January, and there's new life springing forth, but we're also looking for leaders that are going to step up to the plate. A lot of people want to come to meetings, but they don't want to take that position. But we provide training and resources, and it's an exciting thing to do.
Well, and your new vision, new mission, doesn't call just for leaders, but it calls for radiant leaders.
Yes, we were just talking about that during the break, that part of our new vision statement is to raise up those who have a radiant relationship with Jesus Christ. It's not just having a personal relationship that is quiet and secluded and even secret, but he says to put your light out there so that people can see it. So we're looking for people and helping people develop that radiant relationship with him.
And you definitely are looking. So if you happen to be hearing this in somewhere in South Dakota or North Dakota, and you look in the mirror and you say, yeah, the power of the Holy Spirit radiates in my life, and I'd like to be part of this new vision, then contact Sandy Lofberg. The website is aglow.org, and your personal phone number, you don't mind sharing that?
Nope, it's 605-342-4969, and leave a message, because if I'm not home, I will get the message and get back to you. Or maybe it'd be easier to tell my email. It's just Sandy, S-A-N-D-E, at rushmore.com.
So however you choose to do it, just make contact with Sandy and
we're
get
interested.
Involved. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's a fair statement to say God is interested.
God is interested. You know, I'm always amazed to see the divine appointments, the divine connections. People in small towns that didn't know that they didn't know each other, and then they didn't know that they were both had a passion to see the Holy Spirit changing their communities, and then we can bring them together and get, you know, one and then two and multiplication.
You know, Sandy, as we're talking about this rebuilding of the Aglow team in South Dakota and North Dakota, you said something early on in this segment that really stuck with me, and it was regarding the rebuilding of the wall by Nehemiah, that the king sent provision.
Yeah.
And where there is so much provision in the hands of men and women in South Dakota and, well, North Dakota particularly.
Absolutely.
And right now, I know our ministry, the Life and Liberty Group, and I'll bet Aglow International needs resources.
We do, and it's so fun to see how it's interesting that you use the word resources, because so often when we think of resources, we think of only financial resources, but we also need human resources. And then there's provision, how sometimes he'll just bring things that people don't, well, like even what you're doing with the community thrift store, you know, bringing things and getting those to the people that need them, and the resources come from heaven, and they go out through us. And it's just a trust that he is going to provide in the fullness of time. Sometimes we want it ahead of time, and I find that he's always faithful, but sometimes it's the 11th hour, 59th minute.
It's on time.
Yeah, always on time.
I would just encourage you, if you're listening today and something in you you're just getting that nudge from God that you need to be involved in Aglow International, contact Sandy. And if you're someone who has human resources or financial resources or other kinds of resources that you would be willing to lend to God and say, you know, we'd like to help the Life and Liberty Group or Aglow, and maybe you'd like to help in a big way, because we're about big things, aren't we?
We are.
And
He's a big God.
Yes. And so sometimes that takes big resources. Contact Sandy and get involved, and you'll be blessed, and in the process, so will countless other people.